say I keep 30 days of inventory. That is usual practice in my company. The money that is getting blocked, you can imagine. And number two is cash inflow, like our who said, I think yes, Deepul correctly said, right? So the cash inflow, you might have manufactured the product or offered the service and then you raise the invoice to the customer. Do you think the customer will pay immediately or he will take some time? He will take some time, 30 days. So again, your money is getting blocked, right? And your cash inflow, that is also getting added up. First one is inventory. The second one is the inflow. The payments are not coming. That is also increasing your cash conversion cycle. And now the outflow. You procure material, you procure maybe sub-assemblies, you have suppliers. And you will also have some credit time with them, isn't it? Maybe you procure the material and then pay after 10 days, pay after 20 days. So now the outflow, I think that is what the people was meaning as cash burning, right?
Correct.
So your outflow is actually giving you some comfort. So you have to subtract the number of days. So what is the cash formula for cash conversion cycle? Inventory plus the receivables minus payables. All of you understand what actually constitutes cash conversion cycle? Inventory plus payments receivable minus payments payable. Imagine I keep an inventory of 100 days and payment receivable is somewhere equivalent to my 20 days of inventory. And then whatever I have to pay, that is equivalent to 5 days of inventory. Now, what will be my cash conversion cycle? Can somebody tell me? Please note down the numbers.
115.
Beautiful. So 100 days is my inventory, 20 days is my payable, 20 days is my receivable, and only 5 days is my payable. So 115 days is my cash conversion cycle. I feel as a top management, 115 days is too long. Why should I invest my money for 115 days of inventory? I don't want to put that much money. I wanted to put only, let's say 30 days of inventory. Do you understand my goal now? Will you be able to bring down the cash conversion cycle from 115 days to 30 days in just 3 months?
Yeah. I have to just control on my money, on the inventory that I'm ordering. So I have to just control my reordering levels around over there. And exactly. I guess that was done.
Very good. If you get it done quickly, then you will be working close with me. Right. Your management will be definitely very happy having such people, but it's not that easy. 115 to 30, almost to 1/4, I wanted to reduce. And that means we have to improve in several areas, right? And maybe
it has to be done stepwise.
Yeah, it might take some considerable period of time. So I can consider this as a strategic goal. And now, in order to achieve my strategic goal, what happens? I know the cash conversion cycle depends on inventory. So inventory turnover ratio should be improved. If I improve the inventory turnover ratio, what will happen to the cash conversion cycle? Will go down. So what is inventory turnover ratio?
The time it takes to get results or to get cash starting from inventory.
Yes. Inventory turnover ratio is a ratio, right? Calculated by cost of goods sold divided by the average inventory during the period. Let's say during the 115 days, what is the sales I am achieving? Cost of goods sold. That is called cost of goods sold. And divided by the average inventory during the period. Whatever is the period you are calculating, that is called inventory turnover ratio. I wanted to improve the inventory turnover ratio. When I want to improve the turnover ratio, what is in my numerator? Cost of goods sold. How do I increase cost of goods sold? By selling more products, right? When I sell more product, my cost of goods sold will increase. If I am part of the sales marketing team, then my focus will be on the numerator. Suppose if I am part of the production team, right? What I will do is I will focus on the denominator. What is there in the denominator? Inventory. When I reduce the inventory, what will happen to my inventory turnover ratio? Inventory turnover ratio will improve. If my inventory turnover ratio improves, it simply means the number of business cycles I could do within a particular period. I want to do more cycles so that my cash flow will be smooth. So inventory turnover ratio, improving inventory turnover ratio could be a tactical goal, the next version of your strategic goal. And now inventory turnover ratio, I know it depends on the inventory. Now inventory, there are different types of inventory: raw material inventory, semi-finished inventory, and then work in progress inventory. So when I reduce the work in progress inventory, that will impact the inventory turnover ratio. When I reduce the raw material inventory, that will also impact. When I could also work on finished good inventory, and that's why inventory is considered, a waste in lean also. So inventory is included in one of the waste, because more the inventory, your inventory turnover ratio will fall down. All right, Karun, you have any question?
Yes, sir. So while working on the cash conversion cycle, do we have any external and external factors to consider?
Yes, definitely. There will be a lot of factors. You always, in any project, you need to clearly understand the stakeholders. Like anything you are doing, so who all will be benefited or who all will be affected by the project, and they are called stakeholders. And then once you know the stakeholders, and some of them may be internal and some of them may be external. So all the people concerned will be identified, and then you will also be able to understand the factors. But see here, we are considering only the denominator now. What is denominator? Denominator is the inventory, and now the numerator part we are not considering. So maybe some other department will work, but finally everybody working will achieve certain result, and finally the cash conversion cycle will get impacted. This is how any organization will try to deploy their goals and then get it achieved. Then so this is how your Hoshin X matrix will look like. And here are your strategic goals. Maybe cash conversion cycle may be a goal here, and then annual goals will reflect here. Maybe your inventory turnover ratio will reflect here, and then here inventory reduction projects will run. Nothing but every department there will be a focus on reducing the inventory. How can you run the show with the minimum inventory, right? And now this is now your approach is you are trying to implement lean as much as possible. So if you make your processes lean as much as possible, then your organization will be able to run the show with a minimum cash conversion cycle. And then for all the projects here, the targets will be fixed here. Then for each target, responsibilities X, Y, Z, and whoever. And anyway, this will again be explained to you with certain project cases. And see here, for every strategic goal, and this corner will represent the relationship. If I put a tick mark here, it means strategic objective 1 has a relationship with annual objective 3. That means when I drive and achieve the annual objective 3, it will definitely help me achieve strategic objective 1. And similarly, the annual objective 3 depends on one of my project at the operational level, maybe project number 3. And for the project and for all these things, the targets are indicated and responsibilities are assigned. So these are the goals for your top managers. These are the goals for your middle managers. And these are the goals for your down level managers. Are nothing but the projects you will list there. And the list of all the projects is called the issue hopper. And then the targets are assigned, and then human resource will be allocated here. Now the key people who are involved in driving your organization goal, and you need to equip them properly. You need to skill them properly depending on the projects they are working. All right. So anyway, you will also have a session again on the same tool with a case study. So then we move on to another tool called Balance Scorecard. So Balance Scorecard gives you the knowledge, skill, and system that your employees will need to innovate and build the right strategic capabilities and efficiencies that will deliver specific value to the market, which will eventually lead to higher stakeholder value. What it means? See, actually, any organization will look for four things, four important goal. I would say economic goal. The first thing is every organization would like to make profit. Hope all of you agree with me, right? Whatever is the organization, whatever is your product and whatever is your service, what is most important is profit. Number two, customers, right? How good you are in creating new customers to your business. How good you are in retaining your existing customers. Customer is also important. So you need to have KPIs for profit. You should, or otherwise I would say finance. And then the another KPI, another set of KPI for customers. And then third thing, how effectively you are utilizing your resources. If you effectively utilize the resources, what will happen? Yes, this has connection with the other pillars. Your profit depends on your effective utilization of the resources. And then if you effectively utilize the resources, your customer gets your product at an affordable price. So the third pillar is the effective utilization of resources, or you can call them the process KPI. And the last KPI is innovation. Sorry, the last pillar is innovation. What is innovation? You should continuously upgrade your product, continuously upgrade your services, add new features. This is called innovation. Why should you do that? If you don't do that, what will happen? Your competitor will do that, and then they will outperform you. So always any organization would like to focus on four pillars. First pillar is finance, profit pillar. Second pillar is customer. Third pillar is the resources, and fourth pillar is innovation. Definitely you need numbers, KPIs from all the four pillars. If you keep equal strength in all the four, your organization will grow fast. Whether that is happening or not, we monitor it with a scorecard, and the tool is called balanced scorecard. What is our intention? We wanted to give equal importance to all the four, or we wanted to balance them properly, and that's why it's called a balanced scorecard. Don't just focus on the profit, and don't just focus on customer delight. Don't just focus on effective utilization of resources. Don't just focus on innovation. You need to focus on all the four. Maybe slight proportion can vary. This is happening as per the strategy or not. You can monitor using this balanced scorecard. So balanced scorecard will have four categories. Finance. Here all the financial KPIs will appear. Objective, and for example, I want to improve the sales, and then I will identify a KPI. What is KPI? My sales per quarter. Sales per quarter is a KPI. Every quarter, how much is the sales happening with respect to a particular product? And then I will fix a target. Why I fix a target? My current level is weak. So I fix a better target. But how can I achieve my target? I will float some projects. Clear? So this is how this dashboard or the scorecard will be created. You have set of KPIs for finance. You have set of KPI for process. You have set of KPI for innovation or learning and growth. You have certain KPIs to understand what your customer feels about your product, service, and your business. See here. See the customer feedbacks are collected. Net promoter score is collected. Why the organization measure all these things? Because they want to understand how strong is their pillar with respect to the customer. All right. So financial KPIs will let you understand. Yeah.
So just a quick question. So if I compare the Hoshin X matrix with balanced scorecard, so I guess Hoshin is more upon the internal that what we can do, while balanced scorecard includes the external factors like my customers, which would be coming into picture, and my internal as well.
You're right. So Hoshin matrix is just helping you to understand the alignment. Understand the alignment between strategy and down level activities. Clear? Strategy and down level activities, are they aligning? I understand. And then for me to run my business in a healthier way, these are all common practices, right? And so I will keep an eye not just on the finance, but also on the customer side, also on the my business processes, also on the learning and growth. Ultimately, I will connect the Hoshin matrix as well as scorecard to make my business successful in real time. Ultimately, we need to connect them.
So if I got it right, sir, first we have to probably create a balanced scorecard to identify what are the vision and strategy, and then we have to, in order to support it, we need to prepare a matrix.
No, it should be other way. First, you prepare the Hoshin X matrix,
Mhm.
right? Then you know your projects, you know your targets, and all the
Yes, sir.
targets are available. All the targets are nothing but KPI. Am I right?
Mhm.
Now each KPI you categorize. Some of the KPI might belong to finance.
Okay.
Some of
Got
the KPI might belong to customer. Some of the KPI might belong to process. Some of the KPI, for example, I need to produce at least 100 black belts in my company. That
Mhm.
KPI comes under learning and growth.
Yep.
Right? My rejection rate the process should should be brought below 5%. That comes under one of my manufacturing process. At the same time, it will have an impact on the finance also. Right? So all these
Alright.
KPIs I will categorize, and I will use it as a scorecard, and I will continue to keep an eye. I will review my business performance based on these KPI. Now there are two things I'm taking care. One is I could monitor and control my business. At the same time, I could see that my entire organization is functioning towards the strategic goal. Hope all of you are with me on whatever I have discussed so far.
Perfect.
See here, yeah, and see here the scorecard here. Some examples are listed here. For example, financial. A revenue growth of 20% is targeted by 2014. Now the KPI is the revenue growth. A minimum growth of 20% is targeted, and I wanted to achieve it by 2014. And then for the customers, the goal is acquire more customers. But again, you must have a target. This is only objective. Objective can be subjective in nature, but you need a number so that you can actually achieve the objective, right? So that has to be attached. And then another objective is I want to become the price leader. What do I mean by becoming the price leader? My product will be
So we will be governing the prices in the market in the
Highest
competition.
very good, right? Lowest price, or I want to be the decider of the price, and these things. And then internal process. I want to improve the operational efficiency. Operational efficiency, how do I improve? I will conduct some cost reduction program. I will conduct some maybe knowledge-based, create knowledge-based system based on the past experience. I will reduce the non-core activities because I do more of non-core activities, and as a result, my cost is more. So my efficiency is less, and so I will do that. Similarly, learning and growth, I train my people on Lean Six Sigma, and then I database network on operational performance, and then I realign my organization with the core competencies. So these are all maybe certain activities connected to learning and growth, right? So this is how scorecard will look like. And you can create the scorecard at all level. At the organization level, you can create a scorecard. And see here, and your customer receives the product, and this is the output from the process, and your process will have so many tasks, right? And now you can fix some scorecards everywhere, like scorecards M1. M1 is of importance to your whole organization, because M1 talks about what your customer feels, right? A scorecard which will talk about how your products and services looks in front of your customers. So you can create the scorecard at the broader level. We call it the organization level scorecard, which generally the people at the executive level are responsible. You can also call it a business level dashboard. And then the next process level dashboard. Every company will have like order procurement and order fulfillment, and then billing, and there are different levels of different functions, and different process exist, and how your organization is performing with respect to the different functions or process. So you can have scorecards at these level, and then sub process or department level scorecard, right? And finally, task level scorecard. So task means the activity where individuals are engaged, right? And so you can have the scorecard, and that is called the work group level scorecard. So this is a small one example of a business level dashboard. Can somebody read out what is written here? Is it visible?
To become a
Become
market leader in
cooling line in most of
Yeah, become a market leader in cooling line in the most profitable way in domestic market and establish humble presence in export market by 2010. It's an old project, right? So a company maybe this is the vision of the company. They fixed the target at 2015. You know when they have written this statement? Then at least 3-5 years before. Am I right? So this is a vision. And so the strategy is, one thing is they wanted to achieve profit growth, and another thing is they wanted to increase the turnover, right? And now there are strategic business objectives created now for achieving the profit growth, and they have written, so regain the profitability and then improve the profitability. And how will you measure? They measure the revenue, they measure the profit before tax, they also measure profit after tax. And what is the unit of measurement? The lakhs of rupees. And what is the frequency of review? Quarterly once. And who is now responsible for it? Mr. KSH. So something like that, you can create dashboard, and then you can administer very effectively. So in order to the vision is now divided into strategies. Then for strategies, objectives are written. Then for objectives, you create KPIs. KPIs are here. And then for KPIs, you set target, and then someone is made responsible. And this is how, and by creating this kind of a dashboard, you can identify high level projects. You can identify higher level projects. This is a top down approach. We start from what top management wants, and then we float some projects. Is it clear so far?
Yes.
Done. But definitely this is a high level discussion.